Hey there, Mrs. Williams here, and this is problem 9.4.B-3. And you're given this picture. You're asked to find the total surface area and volume of the frustum of a cone. And these three formulas here are the important ones that you want to note. You're going to use this top one for the surface area and this bottom one for the volume. The middle one is important because you're going to need L to plug in for the surface area. So the first thing we'll want to do is find this L. It's supposed to be an L. And so we're going to take pi times S. S is the slant height. So there are two heights in your picture. The 20 is the perpendicular height. This would be if you saw an H in the formula. The slant height is like it sounds. It's on the side that's slanted. So that's 22 is our S value. R1 and R2 represent the radius of the upper circle on the cone and the bottom circle on the cone, and they really don't matter which one you call R sub 1 and R sub 2. And just be careful, the 11 that they're giving you is the diameter. So we want to take half of that for the radius. And then again down here, 14 is the diameter, so 7 is the radius. So we have 5.5 plus 7. And then from there, we're going to just use the order of operations to solve this. I don't see where it says to use pi or 3.14. The directions or the blue instructions say that we're going to round to the nearest integer. So I think we're going to be okay by using 3.14. I'm just trying to well, I guess what's always best, if your calculator, most calculators should have a pi button. So go ahead and just keep that pi in there. We're going to add first, and then we're going to go ahead and multiply. It gave me 863.94, and this is going to be inches squared because L represents lateral area. Lateral area is the part around the cone, not including the top and bottom circles. Now we're going to be able to use this to find the area. So notice we need that L. We're going to plug that in our formula. Then we're going to add in pi r squared, which is the top, the area of the top circle. So that's why it's important to understand, or it helps to understand, that the L is just the area around the cone part. It doesn't include the top and the bottom. And then this formula makes a little more sense because you can see that we still need to add in those two circles. So then we also need the bottom circle, and the radius there is 7, so I have pi times 7 squared. And then this would be 863.94 from the part that we got from L. This answer is 95.03, the pi times 5.5 squared, and then 153.94 for pi times 7 squared, and that gives us a total area of 1,112.91. And I didn't write the 3 there. I'm going to keep those all rounded to the hundredths place for now. But this would be the surface area, so that would be the answer that goes here. Then it asks for the volume. So here's our volume formula. And we do have everything we need. We've already talked about R sub 1, R sub 2. That's the radius of the top circle and the radius of the bottom circle. The only piece that we haven't talked about is H, but recall that is actually the perpendicular distance from the bottom of the cone to the top of the cone. That's what this 20 inches represents. So I'm going to plug height in there, or 20 in for height is what I should say there. So 1/3 times pi times 20. That's this part of the formula. Then I'm going to put parentheses, and I'm going to take that radius of the top circle and square it. Add that to the radius of the bottom circle squared, and then the product of each radius. So lots of parentheses there to show multiplication. And then once you get it plugged in, the tricky part is just to be, really careful simplifying. So remember your order of operations. The first thing I can do is square the 5.5 and the 7 squared. So I just want to be real careful and rewrite everything just to stay organized, to make sure I don't make a mistake. That comes out to 30.25. 7 squared is 49. Since I've already completed my powers, I can also go ahead and multiply 5.5 times 7. Okay. Then I want to add everything inside of those parentheses first, or next. And I get 117.75. Okay, now the best way to do this, it's all multiplication and then there's a 3 in the denominator, which would be division. So the best way fastest way, and probably less error-prone way, is to just take everything that's in the numerator and multiply it all at once, and then hit your divide button on your calculator and divide by 3 at the end. So we're going to do 1 times pi, or you can really just do pi because the 1 is not going to affect the problem, times 20 times 117.5, or 117.75, and then divide by 3. You can put that all in your calculator at once. It should work out if you do it correctly. And then you get 2,466.15. Oh, and actually, I'm not paying attention to the directions. It says to round to the nearest integer. So for each of these problems, I want to be sure to do that. This 10th spot is a 1, and so this is going to stay as 2,466, or I won't want to round up. Because it's volume, I know it's inches cubed for the units. And then for area, I want to actually round up to 1,113, since this 9 in the 10th spot is going to cause that 2 to round up. And I know that inches is squared, so that would be inches squared. So here's the surface area, and here is the volume. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have further questions.